Good morning, Jill Weinbanks. I apologize, but not really, for waking you up. Good morning.
I'm delighted that it was you waking me up and that I got this great news
Yes.
this morning.
Wow.
Yay.
Oh, my
Hooray,
God.
hooray.
Wow. Jill, I know, we're all trying to, because this is sort of what had been predicted, right? That New York State would get his taxes and financial records and not Congress. Although
Right.
Congress has been knocked to a lower court. Tell us what that means.
Well, Congress, as far as I've read so far this morning, it looks like the decision has not yet been rendered or at least announced. It has been rendered, but not announced yet. So I haven't read that they were denied it, but my prediction was that the DA would succeed and Congress might not. So it seems like that may be what's happening. And in any event, the important thing is that 8 years of tax returns will be released to the DA, and the DA can use it to announce through an indictment what the results of that are. I mean, they can't just release them because that's not the point. This was done through the secrecy of grand jury proceeding, and so it won't be made public until it gets announced if it does get into an indictment.
So, but Jill, what does that? But when does that mean? Does that still mean not while he's president?
No, it means they can do it immediately, depending on what they find in the tax returns. And remember, this is his corporate and his personal tax returns for 8 years. So there's a lot of, financial records and banking records would be more important in some ways, but because you may lie in your tax returns. But let's give them a chance to investigate it, to see it. I'm sure they will have a full court press on this. They will, put a lot of resources into forensic accounting and check out whatever information is in there. And, this is really good. It's not a public release. People shouldn't think, they're going to see it.
Right.
But it can, through an indictment, you can tell a lot, and this means the immunity that he's been claiming. First of all, he claims an, absolute, complete immunity, which doesn't exist. But even the executive privilege doesn't exist. There's just doesn't have immunity.
I feel like I'm living through Watergate again, but with Watergate prosecutor Jill Weinbanks. This is so exciting for me. I peed again.
Right.
Okay. Just
remember,
the headlines.
We succeeded. That is, the special prosecutor got the tape recordings, and Congress didn't. And so that's why I was predicting all along that Congress might not get what it needed, whereas the state, in a prosecution where there's no alternative for the evidence except to get it, would get it. So
I can't believe I'm reading the headlines to Jill Weinbanks, who I've just woken up. But in Los Angeles Times, in a major defeat for Trump, the Supreme Court upheld demands for his tax records, ruling the president is not above the law. This is exactly what happened in that sense in Nixon, right?
Absolutely.
This is what you've been talking about for so long. So what do you think the time frame is if there would be an indictment in New York?
Well, I don't know all the information they already have, and 8 years of taxes is a lot of information to go through. So
Politico
it's going to take time.
Politico seems to think that it pushes anything past the election, because the election's only 4 months away.
Yeah.
So anything that comes out of this won't be announced until after the election.
That's speculation.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm being, too optimistic, but with the right resources put into the forensic accounting, to the complete review of what's in these documents, and based on what they already have and know, Michael Cohen's testimony, because a lot of this relates to how he treated the payment to Stormy Daniels, in terms of,
he's individual one in Michael Cohen. Why Michael Cohen's in prison?
Exactly. Yeah. And so it's the same prosecutor. So they have a lot of information already available, and it could be, there is, at least at the federal level, I know for us as federal prosecutors, we would be very careful not to intervene in a way that could impact an election, as, for example, Comey unfortunately did in complete violation of all the rules. So that would mean you're getting close to when you would have to act now rather than, you couldn't do it on October 31st.
Right.
And remember, we're also expecting there's a possibility of an October surprise from William Barr through Durham as a way of impacting the election. So we don't want to do something that doesn't give time to be aired completely so that a defense can be put forward so that you have an accusation without answer. But this is only July. And so if they could act by August or September, there's enough time. I don't think that would be a political decision. And it would have been done sooner if he hadn't been fighting wrongfully to turn it over. If he had turned it over in time.
karma. Okay, yes,
So it's, I mean, I hope I'm not being overly optimistic, but I think it's possible that this could come out before. It at least shows people that he was wrong in trying to keep this. This was a very powerful decision. It was 7-2.
7-2 dissents from Thomas and Alito.
Yep.
Right,
but 9-0 on presidential power, Jill, wasn't it?
Right.
On absolute immunity, yeah.
Absolute immunity.
Yes. So there you go. I mean, and that says a lot. And that means that he can't claim it for himself and he can't claim it for underlings.
Oh, God, we haven't been taking crazy pills, Jill. We are all this time. By the way, I'm laughing that Harry Littman just called while we're talking. Too late, Harry. I woke Jill up.
Say good morning to Harry for me.
I will. You're next, Harry. Jill, so wait a minute. It's so, historic for me that I get to be talking to a Watergate prosecutor in the midst of this ruling. But, James Carville was just on TV last night speculating what a lot of prominent Republicans are speculating. He might not be the nominee. Like, could this possibly be something that he steps down over and tries to make a deal for, like Nixon did, I guess, to not be prosecuted, he and his family? Like, what do you think? I mean, I know we're speculating wildly now, but
we're speculating wildly, and given his personality, even as it unfolds through his niece, in her new, and she says he basically is crazy, and she's a psychologist, not just his niece.
Right.
I don't see it in him to admit defeat, but his family might persuade him that they don't want to go to jail and that he shouldn't want to. And, it's possible, but then what does that leave the Republicans with? It is an admission that they had a criminal president and that Pence, who would be, I suppose, the likely nominee, supported him and encouraged him, and, he allowed this to happen. All of these enablers should face the consequences. I mean, it's not enough to get rid of him. We need to get rid of McConnell and Lindsey and everybody else. And McConnell, he's in a race that could end up with him losing. Either being the majority leader.
Yeah, powerful new Lincoln Project ad on all of these traitors that enabled this traitor.
Their names.
Yeah.
Right.
Jill. Okay, so I've so many questions. I can't even. I don't even have your brain, and I can't process what to ask you.
And you're awake.
I've been awake for a few hours, but it's a lot to process, isn't it, all at once? Because I think, as much as we knew this might be coming, and he can't outrun the law forever, and the president, no one is above the law, which you guys proved in Watergate, I just am, my mind's sort of reeling. I mean, when you say that, like, oh, he won't quit, I also can see him saying the same thing he always does. Can't you? Fake news, hoax,
Right.
would have made America great, victim, wah, wah, wah. And he'll be a martyr and step down. I mean, I just can't. I think there is nothing we can predict anymore, is there, in this presidency?
There isn't, because this has not been anything near normal. Since his election, since his inauguration, things have been so abnormal. And, I so look forward to, we had no drama, Obama.
Yeah.
Let's have, I don't know what the right phrase is, but let's have some
easy riding with Biden. Let's have
Yes.
some easy riding with. I don't know.
Okay,
Let's workshop
I'll take
that.
it.
We're
I'll take it.
workshopping.
We definitely let's restore respect
Yes.
Yeah.
and sanity to the country. And even don't you think that this could be one of those things where when people actually see what's in his tax returns,
Yeah.
that maybe even loyal supporters, I keep thinking,
Yeah.
something is going to get to them. But
Well-
then again, I thought grabbing pussy would get to them.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Jill Weinbank said something you can't say on the radio.
Oh.
Wow, you just
Well,
woke up.
that's
You
'cause I'm
probably
not
weren't
awake.
thinking. You
I'm
probably weren't
sorry.
thinking.
Okay.
All right.
I
Wow.
wasn't.
That's
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
I'm only
You-
quoting the president.
That's
Can't you quote
true.
the president?
Saucy little minx. Okay.
Oh my God, this is disgusting. I'm
You're fine.
sorry.
It's fine.
You're fine.
It's fine. You're
Next
fine.
time, give me more time to wake up.
Yes,
Otherwise,
exactly.
Sorry about
filter
that.
my own mouth.
Sorry about that historic morning. Jill, wait. So I got to ask. All this stuff is swirling in my head. So the ruling on Congress getting the records. What is the time frame on that? What does that mean when you say it is? Can you just explain that?
Well, it's immediate. Why wouldn't it be immediate?
No. I'm talking
So-
about the Congress getting his records.
Oh, Congress.
Yes.
As I read it, just before we got on air, it is expected today, so it should be announced momentarily.
But I mean, but Congress, I'm not understanding that ruling exactly. So they ruled that New York can get his right.
But that Congress can't get it. But
there's two
Yes.
separate cases.
yes.
And one was whether the DA in New York,
Mhm.
who's investigating a criminal allegation against him and says they need these records in order to complete the investigation, gets it. And that's very similar to the Watergate case, where we said the need to continue a criminal case is the one that prevails, whereas Congress doing just an investigation didn't have the same right.
Okay.
For now, but so we don't know the time frame on that.
Yeah, the Supreme Court sent the case back down to lower courts to reassess the matter with a new and narrower interpretation of Congress's power to subpoena the chief executive's
Oh,
records.
okay. All right.
Yes.
I hadn't seen that
Yeah.
opinion. Oh, okay. So in terms of that, based on just general knowledge of the law, again, courts can act quickly, and they could assess it based on this new decision and based on everything else. They could go ahead and rule fast. I mean, what does
Right.
fast mean? It means a month or two.
Wow.
Let's say 2 months would be really fast. But it can be. Remember, we went from a subpoena of 64 tapes in April to a decision in the Supreme Court in July. So if you can go from a subpoena to a Supreme Court decision in 2 months, you can go from the Supreme Court sending it back to a lower court and a lower court acting, very quickly, within a few weeks.
Wow.
Whether that will happen, depends.
I feel like
we don't
my
know.
Nuremberg prosecutor dad woke you up this morning so that you could take my call, because I feel like, Chris, seriously, we may be at our Goldwater moment between Congress,
gosh,
the state of
that
New
would
York, and his poll numbers.
Yeah.
There might be a Goldwater that says it is time for you to go.
Oh, I don't. That one, I'm not even hopeful on.
Right,
I'm
well-
sorry. As optimistic as I am, to find anyone in the Republican leadership or even in the lower ranks of.
Oh, not to do the right thing, but because he clearly, according to the polling, even before all this, is taking them all down with him. I hope they don't. I hope they hang on to him. Right?
Well,
but yes.
I'm with you on that because I think he's so easy to beat, but I don't want us to get confident and lazy and not keep fighting. The Illinois delegation met yesterday virtually, of course.
Right.
And again, we talk about the fact we shouldn't take Illinois for granted, no matter how blue it is.
Yeah.
That we have to keep fighting and keep making sure that we let people know why they should vote for Biden. And it's not enough to say vote against this monster who's in the White House.
Yep.
That's not enough.
Yep.
There are so many reasons why that the platform is going to be the most progressive that has ever been in the history of our country.
And also, Bill Barr and Donald Trump are having a super bad morning, and that's enough for me right now. And that you were awake. Jill Wine-Banks, and your Just Woke Up voice is super sexy, by the way.
Oh, good. And super sexy on Saturday, huh?
Yeah, no, next Saturday, July 18th, is Sexy Liberal Virtual.
Right. Okay, all right. July 18th.
Get your ticket. Love you.
Okay. I love you,
Thank
too.
you, honey. Thank you.
Jill.
Love you.
I can't wait to read the full opinions.
I know. Oh, because you're such a nerd. Okay, see ya. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.